All right, here we go.
How come you're not on there? You on this one? Here we go. It's about to go live. Hey, y'all. God bless you. God bless you. God bless every one of you. Listen, we are here in the studios. Yes, we are, of WBGR, and it is maybe an hour later, hour and a little bit, a couple of minutes afterwards. But listen, we are up in this camp, and we're so happy to be here. We just was having a great time, having some time, talking with the owner and the proprietor, and his wonderful wife, whose birthday is actually today. We gotta shout her out. Gotta shout her out. Today is her birthday.
Happy birthday.
It's the day. It's the day. You know.
Happy birthday.
What?
Leslie.
It's happening right here, right?
Leslie. Woo. That's good.
Did you hear my ad-libbing coming in there?
It was great.
Yeah, you know, you felt that too.
Yeah, you been, like the past couple of weeks since you've been back.
Since I got back, I brought
bars
bars back from Nigeria.
rhymes and-
I brought bars back from Nigeria. I got bars.
Right.
But we're so happy to be here in the
grateful.
studio. And listen, happy day after Christmas for so many people, you know, and for our Jewish brothers and sisters, happy Hanukkah.
Yeah.
And for our brothers and sisters, happy Kwanzaa. It's out there. It's for everybody. It's something for everyone.
Absolutely.
And we just love everybody. You know, that's what I love about God is God can just fill and bring everybody in.
Absolutely.
You know, so I just love all of you all. And
Absolutely.
we're happy to be here on the air with you all. And you know who I am. I am Pastor J. Stradivar, pastor of the Faith United Ministries, 7905 Fernham Lane, District Heights, Maryland. And I am here with my co-host and my cohorts. And we're going to be just kind of a little bit live, but let me have them greet you. I'm not sure exactly why. I've got right here on the left of me, you know, StephTheBest.net.org.com, the DOT, boxofdots.edu, LLC. Got her on here.
LLC.
Now, my only problem is that she's got this beat up. This is symbolizing what 2018 did. You know, 2018. It's got some dents and some dings, but guess what? It couldn't do nothing with what was on the inside.
Hey, sir, you're saying a word.
You know what? I'm just you know. I've been listening to this. The fact is that sometimes you have to accept thing, but see the thing that you've accepted. So excited about. I'm putting this right here so everybody right now smiling with his beat up box of dots. But greet the people.
WBGR.
Ooh, you got a whole lot of stuff in your left wrist. Wave that one more time. Yeah, you got a lot of bling on there.
I tell you, it's that one hand right there.
Oh, man. How you guys feeling?
Somebody had a good
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
like you said.
yeah,
I hope you guys are still in the spirits because I am. Like,
Yes.
I'm feeling really like a giving mood today.
Wait a minute now.
Like,
Come on.
And I want to give you guys some education.
Oh.
It's some back to basics.
You have to say some singing or something. That's like, you have to give it to them.
And I want you guys to give too, so make sure you share it.
Why
'Cause I mean,
don't you
Wait a minute.
give love on Christmas Day?
Listen to them. Look, y'all. This is just right. But did you all hear that? That's what I want you to understand. Now, you know, when we have the TV show, y'all can't just break out like that and stuff. We're gonna have our band behind us to make sure we give you all a key.
Or drown us out.
What we're gonna tell them that when you all start singing, put y'all's mics down.
Oh.
This was I don't know what that was y'all did just now.
We're gonna pre-record it because
There
the
you
way
are.
that the studio is set up.
Right,
We're gonna
right.
pre-record it and
There
have
you
them
are.
sound, you know, the voiceovers and do all
So
those
that
things.
when you all get ready to start doing it,
Yeah,
they'll just start playing it, and you all just Mariah carry your way through it.
Yeah, we'll lip sync it. We'll lip sync it.
Mariah carry your way
Yeah,
through it like.
Right. Well,
until it goes off.
not right.
Yes. But listen, they did that. But nevertheless, on the right of me, I've got her right here.
Yes.
She needs no introduction. You don't have to say her whole name. It's just one word. And that is Josio. She is here.
Hey. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. When I tell you all, we are here. We're excited. Facebook family, good morning.
I see Bishop Mark Neal all the way from Ohio has come on.
Good
That's
stuff.
my brother,
Yes,
Dr. Mark
yes,
Neal.
yes.
Happy to have him in here with me.
Happy Wednesday. And then WBGR family, good morning to you. And then YouTube family, good morning. We are excited. You already know who we are. But we're glad to be here. And it was so amazing because even as we think about the day after Christmas, I shared it on Facebook that it's not just another day.
It is not just another day.
And even in this year, let's not put the spirit of Christmas away just because December 25th is over.
Absolutely,
because
absolutely.
Christ, which is the reason for Christmas, he still lives.
Jesus is the reason.
Nah.
For the season. What was that?
Reason nah.
That just came from out of nowhere. You did Kirk Franklin, really hard right there. Wow.
We're excited to be here, and I'm telling you, every week we enjoy it. We coming down to the end. We only have this week and next week before 2018 ends.
We are going to
we're going to end with a bang.
Oh, we got to do it.
We're going to end with
we
a
have
bang.
got to do it. We've got to do it. With a biggity, 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 bang, bang.
Hey. What's going on? What's going on?
If people ever just tune in to our broadcast and catch the first part, they're going to say, we ain't watching no more.
Right, exactly.
And they'll miss all of the information, all the revelation that comes at the end. Thank you, Talithia. Yes.
Right.
I'm dropping it.
He's giving you like Caribbean. He's giving you all styles today.
A little reggae.
Oh, yeah.
That was a little reggae right there.
Definitely.
Well, it's like a little crisscross from back in the day. It's like we got the miggity, 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 Mike. We got the miggity, 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 Mike. We got the miggity, 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 Mike. We got the miggity, 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 Mike.
Hey, they don't know about crisscross, jab, crisscross,
make it.
Jab.
I'm just trying to tell y'all.
I'm trying to wake y'all up.
That was y'all's generation. Come alive.
Yes.
Gotta come alive. But we're happy to be here. We are
Glad.
very, very excited. Hey, look, how was y'all's Christmas? See, I should have done some calling and let people call in and tell me, but then they would have tried to take the show.
Yeah.
They would have come on and been trying to rap, saying, Brother Sturdivant, you should have just hit this line right in here, and I didn't want them to take over the show.
They can leave a comment on
You can
Facebook.
leave a comment.
Leave a
Tell
comment.
me how it.
We want to
I
read
had
them. We want to read
someone to tell me that this teaching helped them to make it through Thanksgiving.
That's awesome.
That holiday time, that this whole thing about the family dysfunction, it helped them to deal with their family issues and some things that was happening, and it made it easier for them to kind of talk about some things with their families.
Good stuff.
So I was really excited about that, to think that something that we're doing is making a difference beyond where we are, so
that's why we encourage you all to share when you all when you all tune in. We encourage you all to share because it's not just about you. And if you feel that you're receiving it and it's helping you, why not share it with your friends, those that's on your timeline, so they can receive it and it can be a blessing to them as well.
I'm telling you, it's saving families. It's really, 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 really saving families. And we had I saw my daughter Kiana Fields Brown. She came on. You all need to catch her on Fridays at 8:30 on this very fine WBGR family. She's got the Forgiveness Nation going on, and she's doing some awesome things. But we had some time yesterday, and we had people over at the house, and somehow for the holidays, our home seems to get opened for people to just come in. Sometimes they're people that we know. Sometimes they're people that we don't know. But they just come over to get in and to get some family time and everything like that. And I was very excited yesterday with the whole concept of before anybody else got there, it was just our immediate family.
Absolutely.
And we did one of our tradition things, and it took a little spin and went another way because we were getting ready to have just, YouTube family, Facebook family, WBGR family. We were just going to do our initial traditional thing where we open up with some scripture and prayer and talk about, a little bit of that, about what the year was. But then it took a turn, and we all just started just opening up and sharing, and you were there.
It was a time. It was a thing that and here's one of the things that you have to consider even though Thanksgiving is a time for being grateful and showing gratitude and showing what you're thankful for, that should not be the only time that you show gratitude. So, you know, even with us spending time as a family yesterday, we took time to show gratitude because even though it wasn't Thanksgiving, the typical time, the holiday that we deemed as far as showing thanks, it was just a time to be able to remind each other the love that we have for each other, to share our feelings as it relates to, you know, happiness and growth and change. And sometimes you need that because you just never know what somebody is going through, and they may feel like they're not enough, or they're not being enough, or doing enough. And to hear someone say, you know, I appreciate you, or thank you for being you, it does something. So that was a time that we did that was unexpected, but it was needed.
It was a very, very, very good thing, very refreshing thing, and it made everything take a kind of a whole different turn, a whole different light on the day, which was going to be a good day, but it gave us a whole different light, a whole way of looking at things a little differently, just being concerned about everybody's well-being, you know, how everybody is doing. And so Steph, you were kind of I see my daughter Asia's got a birthday coming up, if not today, it's tomorrow.
It's this week.
It's sometime this week. She's got a birthday coming up.
Do you need me to sing happy birthday to you?
No,
because
Asia,
I can do that for you, no problem.
Lady Asia, please don't say yes. Please don't say yes. You don't want her to sing for you, you know. But but listen, when you get back up in the DMV area, you have got to come and see us. You know, you know, if you're up in here, we have to bring you on the show. You know, do something like that to get you on the show. But Steph, I know you were doing some driving, some traveling for Christmas time. How was your time?
I've always been with my family. I was telling Janice this morning, I think I kind of want to change our tradition a little bit because, you know, as we grow older, we kind of get our own families, and then it kind of gets kind of separated, so we kind of just have the usual 4 or 5 people. But I feel like maybe I want to start my own Christmas/Thanksgiving, pick a date, and then we can all come together. That way you don't have to choose which house you go to. Yeah.
That's so good. So
I'm excited.
You know what? See, and that's the thing, is that traditions start as a result of somebody just having an idea of wanting to do something to commemorate something that's being done. And so I'm just very, very excited that, you know, you did that. What she say? Asia said she's here.
I'm here.
Oh, she said she's coming to see. Okay, she's coming to see us today.
Yes.
Okay, like.
Come on.
Wait a minute! Don't do that! Don't do that! Don't do that! Don't do that! No, that's too high. Don't come on in the room. Don't come in the room. But look, but it was just really, really good because, you know, she's been down North Carolina and everything.
ATL,
you know.
she's been around the world.
Yeah, she has done it, but she's got a major ministry that she is doing, especially even with dealing with single moms.
Yes.
And she took the acronym. I can't remember what it was, but she did an acronym for single moms and just really ministering to single moms and stuff like that. And I just really love her. She's such a wonderful, wonderful. I mean, beautiful, beautiful spirit. Beautiful lady, you know, so we thank God so much for her. Now we've been doing this dysfunction in the family, and one of the things that we shared, and I really want everybody to get this so that they don't go into 2019 with some extra baggage, and that was a statement that we made some point during the course of the year, and that is, just because there is a dysfunction does not mean that you cannot function.
Right.
Just because there is a dysfunction, not function. And what we've come to learn is that sometimes the longer you continue to function, even while there is a dysfunction, eventually the dysfunction gets discussed. You can then discuss the dysfunction because it's like, well, this is what we've been doing, but it hasn't always been comfortable. It hasn't always been whatever. And then it winds up bringing about a discourse or a discussion that may not have been had if everybody would have blown up at the moment. Somebody's got to maintain some level of civility, some level of stability to kind of keep things together, holding it together until we come to a certain point. Janice shared yesterday when we were talking that, you know, we've had to grow into being at a place where the waters are calmer and things are good. And I think that very key word that she used was the word grow up. There's got to be some growth. And what most people don't realize is that growth does not happen without change.
Sure.
Everybody's going to say, oh yeah, well, we're growing everything, but we're not. No, if you don't want to change, then you're not willing to grow. And each person has to come to some kind of a recognition that something has happened. And I was thinking about this when I was looking over the text and looking over some things I want to talk about, because we've been dealing with the dysfunction in the families. We talked about Cain and Abel. We talked about that. And then we were working on Jacob and Esau to finally get to the place where we were going to be talking about Joseph and his brothers. But I wanted to pause for just a second to kind of look at something just surrounding that Christmas story, because the last time we were on, we talked about when Zacharias was having to be struck dumb and could not say anything because the Lord had already told him what his future, his destiny was going to be like, because he sent the word by way of an angel. And it says that his wife was even at a point where, Elizabeth was at a point where the pressure of associations and atmosphere could have made her change what she was actually told. If you remember, when we were reading that story, we talked about how you've got to be very, very careful about your atmospheres and your associates, because they can then kind of put so much pressure on you until, even though God has given you something that you can be expecting or anticipating, you'll go away from that because of the atmosphere or the associates. For those of you who were not there at the time, we talked about how, and you want to read just a little bit of it to kind of bring them back. Let's look at it, and Steph, get ready. We're in Luke chapter number 1. Luke chapter number 1, and the angel is coming to Zacharias. Zacharias is doing his job. He is still up in the temple. He is still doing his work in the temple, as you're going to see around verse number 8. He is still doing his work because every family had a job to do. It was by order of the family clan, and so it was his family clan's time to do their job. So he was the one from his family in service at the particular temple. And I thought this was great, because that means that everybody within the family, when their clan was called, each person would get an opportunity to do something. These days, you'll find that it's only like one person always doing something. One of the things that amazes people whenever they come to Faith Ministries is that they'll wind up seeing all of us as a family working together, doing something in ministry together. This past Sunday, one of my daughters from another country came into the area, and she was in service, and she was talking to Steph like she knew something. And Steph was looking around trying to figure out who she was talking to, because Steph didn't realize that once you're out there and you're on the screen, people know you. Yeah. And Steph was like, me? Oh, me. But the beauty of our relationship is that when people come in, they always think that they know us, and because they've either seen us together so much or for so long, until they're like, oh, I know you, I know your daughter. And it's always amazing because, okay, y'all, listen, I'm just going to say this. Steph's my daughter, but I did not birth her. Right. But she's my daughter.
I'm his daughter.
What's funny is when people say, I remember when you were born. Right. Oh my God, your father loves you so much.
Right. He does.
I know.
And I really do. But you don't remember when she was born.
Yeah.
But that's what happens when you're so tied into the family. Until this, I said, wait, I can see where you resemble, your mother. You resemble, your father. And they're thinking that you really, really, really are. And even though you really, really, really are, you're not really because I birthed you. Right. So I think that's always kind of funny when that happens. But I want to kind of look at this a little bit. Please just kind of pick up right here around verse number 9 of Luke chapter number 1, verse 9. And we're going to do this because I want to show something in just a second.
According to the custom of the priesthood, his lot fell to burn incense when he went into the temple of the Lord.
So his assignment on that particular day, Zacharias' assignment was make sure that you control the fragrance of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
You have been chosen today to change the atmosphere, because the incense would change the whole aroma, the whole atmosphere would shift. And I'm telling you that really every time we go into a service, we have been individually picked out to change the aroma or the fragrance of the atmosphere. That was what the woman did when she came and anointed Jesus' feet. We all know the story. She opened her alabaster box, and it says that it was full of a very precious ointment, spikenard. It says, and the atmosphere shifted. Everything changed. The aroma changed. She got everybody thinking about her. The focus was now on what she was doing. You have an assignment every time you come into the presence of the Lord, not to wait for the praise and worship ministry, not to wait for the worship leader, not to wait for who's the presiding person. You have individually been chosen when you go in to change the atmosphere. You have the ability to do it. Most of us go into services waiting for something to happen instead of going in causing something to happen. I see you, co-pastor Michelle Limes. I appreciate you for coming on, woman of God. And so you have got to be the one that is chosen. He was the one chosen to go in and change the aroma, the fragrance, the atmosphere of the service when it became his lot to do so. Read some more, please.
And the whole multitude of the people was praying outside at the hour of incense.
Everybody was out there. I mean, this was just a particular time set aside for atmosphere shift.
Yeah.
Atmosphere shift. And everybody was outside praying, was inside shifting.
Right.
Well, this thing is so pregnant. I could really preach this one because, you know, sometimes people are waiting for a shift in the atmosphere before they can even come in. You know, people in our ministry, they'll sometimes be sitting out in the car, standing out in the lobby, waiting for us to have the prayer season. Why? Because they know that they did not bring a spirit of prayer, a spirit of praise, a spirit of worship, and they are now waiting. We go in hard. You know, people ask what time does our service start? Well, it starts at 8:45 because we go in and start praying at that time. The official praise and worship does not start until about 9:30. But we go in at 8:45 to get ready with prayer, very intense prayer, walking throughout the entire building, lifting our hands, praying in the Holy Ghost, lifting up God. Why? Because somebody is rushing to get to church on Sunday that didn't even have any prayer time. Somebody left a hellish situation. Somebody left a domestic violence situation. Someone is dealing with children. Someone is dealing with not having enough of something. And we want to make sure that those of us who get there, and I'm going to tell you honestly, it's not a lot of people that get there because everybody does not take it upon them to want to be an atmosphere shifter. They want to be an atmosphere recipient. I feel Jesus in here. I feel Jesus. Oh, that's wonderful that you feel him. But somebody, if you didn't bring him, had to be shifting the atmosphere to make it possible for you to feel something when you came in. Why? Because there are already things on the earth realm, where job or in this particular area right now, government shutdowns or people concerned with can they make it till, you know, the government picks back up again. There's always something. Or in the heavenly realm, as it was in Daniel chapter number 10, there were demonic forces, princes, demonic princes that were over the area where Daniel was praying, so that the message he was supposed to get could not even make it down to where he was because there was a prince, a demonic force that was there, so that the message could not come through, to the point that Michael the archangel had to come down and fight in order for a message to even get through. Boy, this thing is opening up right now. Michael the archangel had to come down, and here's what the angel said. The angel said, I would have gotten here to you sooner. Steph, I'm going to have you read this. He says, I would have gotten down here to you sooner, but there were demonic forces that were stopping me from getting here. Watch this. Watch this. Steph, we're in Daniel chapter number 10 to Facebook, WBGR. Daniel chapter number 10, and we're going to begin reading at verse number 10. Read, Steph, please.
Suddenly a hand touched me, which made me tremble on my knees.
Daniel is now on his knees. He's been fasting and everything, trying to get a message. And when you read starting in Daniel chapter number 1, it says he understood the vision and everything, but it was so long with the response coming or the manifestation. And there's somebody that's watching me, that's listening to me right now, and it's not that you have not gotten a word from the Lord. It's not that you don't know what God is telling you he's going to do. It's not that there's anything wrong with the promise. You've got your promise. You've got your vision. You know that this is your breakout year. You know that this is your time. But you've been hearing this for the past 2 or 3 years, and it seems like nothing has been happening. Well, the reason is for a couple of things. One, there is something happening on the earth realm, and then there's something happening in the heavenlies. When you read chapter 10, verses 1 on down, you're going to see what's going on. And now around verse number 10 of that same 10th chapter, Steph, read that please.
And on the palms of my hands.
I'm on the palms of my hands. So he was on all fours. He's on his knees and he's on his hands. Go ahead.
And he said to me, O Daniel, man greatly beloved, understand the words that I speak to you.
Daniel, you're greatly beloved. So it's not that God's mad at you. I just want you to understand what's going on. Go ahead.
And stand upright, for I have sent to you. While he was speaking this word to me, I stood trembling.
Now watch this. He says, stand upright. You don't have to no longer be bent down, bent over, down on your face, anything, acting like you've done something wrong, acting like there's a problem on your part. And I don't know who I'm speaking this for at this particular season. You've already been beating yourself up. You've been going through guilt trips. You've been making yourself feel bad, saying, well, I must have missed it. I must have missed it. No, it's not that you've missed anything. It's that there are battles going on trying to keep you from receiving what God has for you. Because, see, the opposite of faith is fear. We have said that. But the enemy of faith is time. And if the enemy can kind of delay some things, then he can make you settle for what's available. You know, people who have court cases and lawsuits and they've got money that's coming, the court system or whoever you're suing will try to drag it out. Because if they drag it out, then eventually they can make you an offer that you will settle. And that's what the enemy is trying to do. He is relying on us not wanting to hold on to get what we want because he knows that something will happen and our desperation or our loneliness or our desire for something or another wedding invitation, if you're young ladies like my daughters, or seeing somebody else walk and say, oh, I want what they have. I want what they have. And all of a sudden he can get you to settle for your substitute instead of waiting for your promise. I'm going to say that again. Somebody needs to get a hold of this. You will settle for a substitute instead of waiting on your promise. I'm going to say it one more time. Be careful that you do not settle for a substitute while you are waiting on your promise. Thank you to Lincoln for putting it up for me too. So now, read some more stuff. What's going on here?
Then he said to me, do not fear, Daniel, for from the first day that
Wait a minute. From the what?
The first day.
Go ahead.
That you set your heart to understand and to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I have come because your words.
From the very first day, there has not been a delay. God, where are you? What's going on? I know this isn't the dysfunction, but it's going to help somebody. God, where are you? Where are you? What's going on? He says from the very first day that you prayed and set your heart to get it from me, I heard you. The message, it reached heaven. It was not, you know, he may not come when you want him, but he's on time. No, the message got to heaven and the response was sent. But I want you to watch what took place, please.
But the prince of the kingdom of Persia.
Wait a minute. The prince of the kingdom of Persia. Go ahead.
Withstood me 21 days.
I was held up in the heavenly realm for 21 days. There's been a battle going on in the heavenlies over top of where you are. Because you're in Persia. But there is a prince. Notice that this demonic force is called a prince. Wow. He is over the area battling so that your answer cannot get to you. And I want you all to hear how I know it was a demonic spirit, because read some more.
And behold, Michael, one of the chief princes.
Wait a minute. It says a prince of Persia withstood me.
Right.
But then it says Michael, one of the chief prince, which means that even in the angelic, demonic realm, angels have rank. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, watch the rank, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, get ready for the princes, against spiritual wickedness in high places. There was a demonic force over where he was praying. That's why I have to go to Africa sometimes, as I just got back, and put my prayers in over there. Because there are spiritual wickedness hosts that are over this area of America will stop prayers from going up, and that's why I take the prayer requests of people from our ministry and go and offer them up over there, and they start getting some requests. Why? Because over there is prayer that goes on non-stop, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And over here, we only pray when and if a need comes. We only pray when and if it's something that we can't manage. And I'm going to tell you something. Anything that you can manage, you'll never ask for deliverance from. Anything that you can manage, if you can manage your sickness, you really won't ask for deliverance. You'll ask, can I get a lower dosage of medicine? But you don't ask to be set free. Whatever you can manage, you never ask for deliverance from. It's only when you say, I don't want to have to manage. It's not your responsibility to manage a thing. It's supposed to be what God does for you. That's a whole nother subject. Read some more stuff. I want you to get this.
Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me.
Now here is an angel to bring a message. The angel says, I was withstood by other angels to keep me from getting to you. So now a chief angel had to come and fight these angels so that I, an angel, could get the message to you. You're seeing now what took place even from the time when Lucifer was in charge and he took 1/3 of the heavenly host with him. He got kicked out of heaven. They have assignments, and angels know angels. They know when one is bringing a message, and they know where the area is because demons are territorial. You remember I told you from Mark chapter number 5 that when that man had the legion of demons in him, and then the one who created the angels, Jesus Christ, anointing came, and then the angels that were inside of the man said, let us get out of the man, but don't send us out of this country, because demons are territorial, and they know that if they leave one person, if they can stay in the area, they can get into someone else. And so the record, and there's some territorial demons that were because it says the prince of Persia. There was an angelic being that was assigned demonically to be over the area of Persia, because there was a king of Persia, but there was a prince of Persia. He was in the atmosphere, and that was the demonic angel that was stopping the messenger angel from getting the message to where Daniel what? Don't start playing and acting like demons are just something you see on TV or something you see in the movie. Number one, you don't see demons because they have to have a host, a body. That is why, oh God, if I had time to talk with you, that was why Jesus, who is spirit, had to come into the world in a baby form, because he has to come in the very same type of thing that controls the area where he is. Humans control the earth realm. Why? Because we were created in the image of God, and we're supposed to have dominion. We were created from the dust of the ground. We had to have a form, something that was made for our spirit man to come in to rule in the area where he is. You don't really see me. I don't really see you. I don't really see you. I just see the dirt, the house that you had to have shaped for you to be in so that you could rule on the earth realm. Boy, I don't have time to get into this. I'm giving you all a bunch of good stuff. Read some more stuff, please.
For I have been left alone there with the kings of Persia.
I was left alone. I was left alone. I was left alone. Go ahead.
Now I have come to make you understand what will happen.
I've now come to give you the answer you were asking for. Now go ahead.
To your people in the later days.
Yep.
For the vision refers to many days yet to come.
Come on.
When he had spoken such words to me, I turned my face toward the ground and became speechless.
Wow. Go ahead. Come on.
And suddenly one having the likeness of the sons of men touched my lips. Then I opened my mouth and spoke, saying to him who stood before me, My Lord, because of the vision of my sorrows have overwhelmed me, and I have retained no strength.
Now watch this last part of this. Now I want you to read this. Go ahead.
For how can this servant of my Lord talk with you, my Lord? As for me, no strength remains in me now, nor as any breath left in me.
I've lost everything. It seems like I've lost everything because of this. But he came and brought him a word to refresh him. Go ahead.
Then again, the one having the likeness of man touched me, and the strengthened me.
Now watch this. He says, I'm not even going to give you an answer, but I'm going to renew your strength. And he instantaneously gave him his strength back. Go ahead.
And he said, oh man, greatly beloved.
Greatly beloved. Again, I want to remind you, God is not mad at you. The delay has nothing to do with God being angry with you. It is about a battle that is going on. If you understand that there is a battle that is going on and understand your relationship with God, you'll stop blaming God for the holdup and deal with what is over you. Go ahead, please.
Fear not. Peace be with you. Be strong. Yes, be strong. So when he spoke to me, I was strengthened and said, let my Lord speak, for you have strengthened me. Then he said, do not know where I have come to you now. Then he said, do you know why I have come to you now?
Go ahead.
And now I must return to fight with the prince of Persia.
I've got to go and help Michael, the archangel, with the battle that I left him in. These are showing us that the word that God spoke for you, the things that he spoke for you over 2018, 2017, 2016, we're so busy being mad until we have stopped praying. Daniel kept praying the entire time when nothing was happening. Listen, don't let what is happening to you destroy the grace of God within you. Daniel kept on praying, and the angel said, up, here I am. What if he would have stopped? What if he would have said, ain't nothing happening, ain't no need. What's the use of praying? As we say, what's the use of going to church? What's the use of trying to live holy? What's the use? And we give up so quickly, thinking that there is something wrong with God or with us, so that we don't keep doing what we did to get to the level where we are. My God, I'm helping somebody right now. I'm helping somebody right now. So now he says this. Read this last part. Did you finish that one? He said, what? I've got to go back. And when I have gone forth, indeed the prince of Greece will come. In other words, he said, there's going to be battle after battle after battle in the heavenly realm. Don't think that because you got your answer this time, that there's not going to be another demonic force. Because you're going to ask for something else. That's why you've got to, as they say, stay prayed up. Because remember, I told you when we first got started, atmosphere and associates can impact your attitude about what God has told you was going to happen. So right now, we just now saw atmosphere having to shift. Now I want to look at associates. I've got time to do it. I want to look at these associates. God has told Zechariah, we're back to you now, Josian. He has told Zechariah that I am going to give you something. Would you please start reading right here at verse number 12, please. No, verse number 11, please.
An angel of the Lord appeared to him.
Here comes an angel now, again, coming to Zechariah, just like an angel had to come to Daniel. Listen, if you have never had an encounter with angelic beings, listen, let me tell you, you've missed something. And they're not these little, as I said during Valentine's Day, it's not these little Cupid things with the little carrying a box of hearts and a bow and arrow and everything like that. If angels look like that, have you ever noticed that whenever you read the Bible and an angel shows up, the first thing the angel says is, fear not. Don't be afraid. Why? Because they are so awesome and how big they are. If demons are territorial, that's why the Bible tells us in Revelation that an angel will have one foot on land and another foot on water. He is covering territory. That is why most so-called believers don't even put their angels to work. They know what God does, they know what Jesus does, they know what the Holy Ghost does, but they have not put their angels to work. And you've got ministering angels, warring angels that are standing around with cobwebs on them because you haven't given them an assignment. The Bible says that angels carry out the voice of the word of God, which means that when God has said something, an angel carries it out. You just saw that in Daniel chapter Number 10, sent a message to Daniel. An angel went to take that word, and when that angel couldn't get that word through, another angel came to fight. Why? Because they carry out. Not just they say, but they carry out. They make sure that that word goes out and does not, you read Isaiah 55, and does not return void. It carries out. Its purpose has to be fulfilled. And so angels fight to get it out. Robert White, good to see you on, man of God. I appreciate you so very, very much. Come on, read, Josian.
And the angel of the Lord appeared to him, standing on the right side of the altar.
Standing on the right side of the altar. Angel appeared to him. Go ahead.
Of incense. And when Zacharias saw him, he was troubled, and fear fell upon him.
Now, can I please tell you that it says the angel of the Lord appeared to him, which means that he was there, but he couldn't see him until he made his presence known.
Yeah.
You've got angels that are right there. It's just that you can't see them. They have to make themselves known to you. Go ahead and read the next part.
But the angel said to him, do not be afraid, Zacharias, for your prayer is heard.
Do not be afraid. Again, do not be afraid, Zacharias. Why?
For your prayer is heard.
Your prayer is heard. Go ahead.
And your wife Elizabeth will bear you a son, and you shall call his name John.
Now watch this. Your prayer's been heard.
Yeah.
Your prayer has been heard. And your wife will. Now, he is saying your prayer has been heard. Has been past. And your wife will do future. But he's talking to him in the
Present.
So the only thing that a person who is controlled by time has to hold on to is their past because they can't see their future. So the angel who now is not held by past or by, he has the ability to tell you what's going to happen in the future while you are in your present. Go ahead and tell him what he says.
And you will have joy and gladness, and many will rejoice at his birth.
Now we already know what his name is going to be. His name is going to be
John.
You're going to have joy and gladness. And what else is going to happen?
And many will rejoice at his birth.
And a lot of folk are going to be blessed when he's born. The whole thing about this is that he's telling him about his future while he is in his present, and all he knows is past. But that does not stop your future from happening just because you can't see beyond your today. Just because you can't see beyond today does not mean that tomorrow's not coming for you.
Absolutely.
The Bible says in Jeremiah 29:11, that God says, I know the thoughts that I think towards you. Thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a future and an expected end, or to give you a future and a hope. Thank you, woman of God. Jackie Humphreys up there in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I appreciate you, woman of God. So just because you can't see your future does not mean your future's not mapped out. In Isaiah 46:10, God says this. God says, I have called your end from the beginning, and things that are not yet from ancient times, saying that my counsel shall stand, and I will do my good pleasure. Which means that the Lord says, whatever I promised you I'm going to do, I'm going to do it. And he cannot lie. Come on. God is not a man. Numbers 23:19. God is not a man that he should lie. Neither the son of man that he should repent. If he said it, shall he not do it? And if he spoke it, will he not make it good? Read some more about what he tells Zechariah. Come on.
For he will be great in the sight of the Lord.
He's going to be great.
And shall drink neither wine nor strong drink.
He's already telling him the diet of a child that has not yet been conceived. He's telling him the future, the name, the impact he's going to have of a child that has not been conceived. We saw this with Samson when we talked about Samson. We see this with Jesus. We see, because God does not have to consult your barren past to see if he can give you a pregnant future.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that again. God does not have to consult your barren past to see if he's going to give you a pregnant future. He speaks about your future while you are dealing with the emptiness of your past. That's why even when it ain't nothing happening, when nothing's going on, you got the ability to get excited. I want you to read this real quick, Josian, Isaiah chapter number 54, Isaiah 54, beginning at verse 1. I want you all to get this. I'm putting all these scriptures together because I'm trying to help somebody who is about to close out 2018 and feel like it's been your worst year and feel like hasn't nothing happened and all the promises God made, nothing's come to pass, and I don't know what's going on and what's wrong with me. There's been warfare. That's one of the things that's been happening because God did not lie with what he said he was going to do. But did you maintain the persistence and the consistence of your faith walk all this year? Did you maintain the persistence and the consistence of your prayer walk all this year? Did you maintain the persistence and the consistence of your I believe God walk? Or did you waffle back and forth because you allowed what your past had been dictating to make you think your future was not going to happen? Did you settle for some substitutes along the way? Read that, please. What does he say do in Isaiah chapter number 54, verse 1?
Sing, O barren.
Anybody who is barren, barren means empty. Nothing has been produced. Yet he says the very first word he says to do is to do what?
Sing.
In other words, even though there has not been any manifestation, you ought to have a song from an empty womb. I'm saying that again. You ought to have a song from an empty womb. You ought not have an empty spot that doesn't have something in it, but nothing's been produced. Well, then you ought to be giving birth to a song. Sing, O barren. Go ahead.
You who have not born.
You who have not seen your dream come to pass and bring it to where you are, who have not gotten the answer to your prayer, who have not gotten the thing that you thought was going to happen for your business, who have not gotten the date, who have not gotten the phone call, who have not gotten the breakthrough you were thinking about. It says, don't allow what you have not seen to stop you from expecting what you believe. Don't allow what you have not seen, barren, to stop you from expecting what you believe. Because when what you are expecting comes to pass, you're going to wind up making up a song. You're going to have some joy. You're going to be excited. He says, do it now as if it's already done. Because I've already shown you that even when there is nothing happening in your present and you've had a barren past, that has nothing to do with what God has promised for your future. Go ahead, please.
Break forth into singing.
What did he say? How to start singing?
Break forth.
Did he say plan or did he say?
Break forth.
In other words, it just starts happening. Kind of like what you all do.
Yeah. I was about to break forth.
Yeah. I mean, we'll just be talking and all of a sudden you all be like, come on. I mean, like, wait a minute. Where did that come from? You just say, I just felt it in my spirit. And I always get on you all about that. But the reality is, sometimes it's not planned. It has nothing to do with the agenda. It's got nothing to do with the lineup. You just felt it in your spirit. Well, where does that come from when there has been nothing positive in your past? It's because something within you believes beyond what has happened in your history. Says, break forth into singing. Go ahead.
Break forth into singing and cry aloud.
And cry aloud. In other words, don't be silent about what do you believe in God for. Keep saying it.
Yeah.
And say it boldly. Say it boldly before the end of this year. That's why you'll always hear me give prophecies that sound crazy.
Yeah.
Before my father in the Lord, E.A. Adeboye, the General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God Worldwide, based in Lagos, Nigeria, he'll say stuff and he'll say, before the sun rises.
Yeah.
And we'll be at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, he'll say before the sun rises. I mean, and he'll be like, within the next 4 or 5 hours, God has to do this.
Yeah.
He pushes our faith to believe God quickly. Whereas we think we have to help God by saying maybe by the end of the week, maybe by the spring.
Yeah.
No, put that time frame in there and then channel your faith to believe God that it's going to happen quickly. If you can put your faith out there right now and you're not afraid to look crazy, what you've been expecting that has not happened all the way down to day 26 of December can happen before the 31st.
Amen.
If you can put yourself out there, put your faith out there, I mean, and believe God like nobody's business, I'm telling you, it can happen for you. The only thing that's stopping you is your faith ain't out there. The only thing stopping you is that you don't want to believe like that, because your first thought, whenever your faith goes out there, is, what if nothing happens? What if it doesn't? I don't want to be disappointed. Listen, if you don't have it, not getting it isn't going to less.
That's very true.
But if you can put your faith out there, it can wind up happening for you. My dear friend, Brother James Nance, all the way in Connecticut. Good to see you, man. I love you, love you. Come on.
For more are the children of the desolate.
Wait a minute. Break forth into singing. The ones who have an empty area
Right.
have more children
Wow.
than what?
Then the children of the married.
In other words, the ones who have no assistance will be more productive than the ones who have fleshly help.
Wow.
Because a married person has fleshly help. A desolate area has no assistance. A desolate land has tumbleweeds. A desert or an area that is desolate has nothing that looks productive. But it says the desolate should sing more, because your emptiness means you've got more room for something to happen. God can do more in your empty place than human beings can do trying to help you. Sometimes you're better not having any help.
Yeah.
You're better not having any help. Because if you have, then you're dependent on what they have. So your belief is only based on their limitations. People have asked me, Brother Sturdivant, how do you go? You had your wife and your 4 kids, and you had gotten let go on your job. You were declared permanently disabled. Nobody was hiring you or anything. How did you do that? How could you not sue? How could you believe God when He said not do that? Because the assistance you get from God is greater than a paycheck you can get from a job.
Yeah.
The assistance that you can get from God is just your resource. The assistance you can get from God is the source. From a paycheck, resource. From God, the source. You've got to go beyond what your resource is and go to the source. So he says, more are the children of the desolate than the one, go ahead.
Of the married.
Of the married. So where you have no human help, that was why Mary could believe that there was going to be a child named Jesus from her, even though she has not known a man, because she got a word of assistance from the source. Husband, the married one, had not done anything with her to bring about productivity.
Wow.
Did I finally bring the thing all the way back around?
You did.
It is important that you not put all of your hopes in somebody who is just as limited and fleshy as you are. Your hope has got to be in one who has the ability to do what flesh can't do. In Nigeria, we say, only you can do what no man can do, Jehovah. Only you can do what no man can do, Jehovah. And you got to come to a point where you start saying, where flesh has failed me, where humanity has hurt me, where mortals have marred me, heaven will help me. You've got to look beyond your resource and go directly to your source. That's why David said, if we read it properly, we always say, I will lift up my eyes to the hills. When the actual writing of it is a question. Should I lift up my eyes to the hills? The hills were referred to kings and princes of the land. And then David responds. When you read it, it's a question. Even though it's a statement, you'll see a question mark in it, because the response is, my help comes from the Lord. He is saying, no, I don't look to the hills. I look to the maker of the hills. Here's what he says. My help comes from the Lord who created the heavens and the earth. The earth is where the hills are. I'm not looking to the one who are the hills. I'm looking to the one who made the hills. Y'all have to read the Bible a little bit better than what you're doing in 2019.
Yeah.
Read, please, some more. Any of y'all want to say anything before I move on, because I'm feeling this?
It's good teaching. I think it's on point with just coming to the conclusion of this year, and everybody go through this reflection of the whole year during the ending, and it's just one of those things where it kind of encourages you to do something different, because as we said in the beginning, you're not going to have anything different unless you do anything different. And it shows me how my faith could be stretched a little more than what it is. And sometimes we do kind of fall into that settling, not even just with just the natural realm as far as relationships, but just settling even from a spiritual perspective of barely doing and not doing all that we could be doing. And we're kind of using God for when we need him, but not just appreciating him for who he is.
Absolutely.
So it's a timely teaching that's needed.
Steph, you want to say anything?
You're doing great.
We ought to thank God. My dear friend and brother, one of my mentors, Dr. Miles Monroe, he said we ought to thank God that he has given us days, weeks, months, and years.
Sure.
We ought to thank God for that. You know why? Because can you imagine if you were in eternity?
Yeah.
Then that means that your pain would be an eternal pain.
Yeah. Yeah.
That means your heartache would be an eternal heartache.
Yeah.
And so God gives us days, months, weeks, and years so that we can now let the week and the month and the year put distance between our pains.
Thank you, Lord.
Put distance between our hurts. Everybody like, I'm ready for eternity. No, you ought to thank God right now that you still got a little bit more time to do some things. Read this last little part, please, because my time is getting away from me.
Enlarge the place of your tent.
In other words, if you are believing while you're empty. Now watch this. She's barren.
Sure.
So while you're barren, you don't have to be bothered with stuff that people who have responsibilities and a bunch of children or of the relationships have to worry about. So while you're waiting, here's what I want you to do. To do what?
Enlarge the place of your tent.
In other words, the place where you are, I want you to stretch your expectations. Expand your expectations. In other words, nothing happened this year. Okay, then make the place of your expectation bigger. Make your dream bigger. Make your desire bigger. Instead of making it smaller because you don't want to be disappointed, make it bigger because you are expecting. More are the children. Children come, when someone says that they are pregnant, they'll wind up saying, I am expecting. So if you are expecting, you've got to now enlarge based on your expectation. So as we say in Nigeria, if you only want God to do small, small, then you're only playing small, small. But if you want God to do big, I want you all to understand, I don't have a mega church or anything like that. We just try to do mega ministry. I told them we're going to own the neighborhood where we are. We don't have the money. We don't have anything like that. But we have a source that is greater than our resource. So we claim the community. We don't get it smaller in our vision and say, well, if we can just pay to have our grass cut. No, we're looking at the properties to get it all. Somebody listening to me right now, somebody watching me right now, you're saying, Brother Sturdivant, you may not have the resources, but I'm listening to you, and some of you all, God has been talking to you about doing something for this ministry. And I'm telling you, you're going to wind up doing it because you've heard what I've said is bearing witness with your spirit. Go ahead, watch what he says right now. He says, do what?
Enlarge the place of your tent.
Enlarge the place of your tent. A tent is always temporary. A house is made of brick. You've got your wood. That's because you plan on staying there. A tent means I don't plan on staying here, but I'm going to stretch this as far as I can because where I am is only temporary. temporary. Come on, say that with me. Where I am is only temporary.
It's only temporary.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
And let them stretch out the curtains.
Wait a minute. It says you enlarge. Is that what it said?
Enlarge the place of your tent.
Enlarge the place of your tent.
And let them stretch out.
Wait a minute. Enlarge the place of your tent. It's just you. Then it says, and then do what?
And let them.
Stop. Now, where did them come from? Because see, the moment that you start stretching, people who see you stretching are going to come and help you stretch.
Yeah.
It says, and let them. Now, in one sentence, I've gone from working by myself to have somebody else coming to help me. And let them do what?
Stretch out the curtains.
Stretch out the curtains. What do curtains do? Curtains close over windows. When you pull curtains open, it gives you a broader view or a broader perspective than where you were when the curtains were closed. So it says, let someone hear your vision and stretch it wider than you ever imagined. Let somebody make it bigger. You've allowed your vision to be too small by listening to small-minded, narrow-minded people. Talk to somebody who can stretch you. Talk to some people that can make you think bigger, think broader, think better than you've ever thought before. Come on, read this last part.
And let them stretch out the curtains of your dwellings. Do not spare.
Don't spare. Don't play it cautious. I don't know who I'm talking to right now. Our theme for this incoming year in 2019 is that we are indomitable because there is glory ahead. We are now saying we are not going to be intimidated. We are not going to be one that's going to dummy down our dream. We're not going to let what has not happened over the past few years stop us from putting God to the test in this incoming year. And so it says, do what?
Do not spare.
Don't spare. Don't play it cautious. Don't play it safe. Go ahead.
Lengthen your cords.
Lengthen your cords. Stretch this thing out more. Go for it. I'm telling somebody right now, go for it. Stop looking for an apartment. Start looking for property to build your own house. When I built the house that I'm in right now, I started out by just looking for someplace bigger than where I was when I was in Washington. And then I went looking for a place that somebody else had already lived in. And I was looking for that place, trying to find my wife her dream house. How many of you understand that if you move into something that somebody else has already lived in, that was somebody else's dream? Right. Your dream house has to be done by you. We went looking for some place, and I wasn't going to settle. And all of a sudden, the realtor strengthened and stretched out my cords. She said, Reverend Sturdivant, did you ever consider that you could build your own house? I had never thought about it because I had been in an atmosphere with associates who had dummied down my vision and my dream to the point that all I thought I could do was maybe get something that was already standing. And here's what she said to me. She said, if you don't mind waiting, you can build your own because it doesn't take any more money to build your own than it does to move into one that somebody else had. So now I had to conquer the concept of time and said I'm willing to wait because I'm waiting on something that is bigger than what anybody around me or in my family had ever done. No one in my family had ever built their own house. And do you know that the very house that I was living in, that I was supposed to get evicted from sometime when we were struggling, I now own that house and the house that I built. Why? Because if you can hang on to the source will do for you what resource could have never done for you. I'm challenging someone's faith right now. I'm challenging someone right now. My time is gone. They just came and gave me the signal. I've got to round it up. But I'm challenging somebody who is looking at me, who is watching me, who is listening at me. I've come to stir up your faith. Listen, you cannot want something new and keep doing the same old thing. Matthew 9:17 says, you do not put new wine in old wine skins. The old will be burst by the new that is coming. And some of you are wanting God to do something new, but your way of thinking has not expanded. Your way of moving has not expanded. Your way of giving has not expanded. Your way of thinking and dealing with other people has not expanded. I'm stretching your mind today. I'm making you uncomfortable because you're going to, even if you don't want to do anything, you're not going to be able to think the same way that you have been thinking because of this teaching I've given you right now. And I want to encourage you you, go for it. Go for it. Go for it. Get into a Bible teaching, Bible preaching, Bible believing ministry that makes you uncomfortable staying stuck where you are. Get into a ministry that is going to push you, that's going to challenge you and cause you to be greater than even you could imagine. Listen, beloveds, I don't know how much time I got left because I'm feeling this thing right now. You said I'm done?
You got 1 minute.
I've got 1 minute. Okay, listen, I want you to understand, I got these great ladies here with me, and they know when I get on a roll like this, they just go ahead and they just start pushing me for me to go on and do it. And I say, no, you just keep on talking, man of God. Keep talking, Dan. So go ahead. What your name is again?
Steph the Best.
Steph the Best, and who are you?
I'm Janice.
And I am Dr. Brother J.E. Sturdivant, pastor of the Faith United Ministry, 7905 Fernham Lane, District Heights, Maryland. Some people are on the air because they can afford to be on the air. Others are on the air because they like the way they sound on the air. But we're on the air because of a very specific reason. We're on the air because what? We
got something to say.
Say we
got something to say.
Say we got something to say. God bless you.
Woo,
Thank
heard
you. I said what I said. Thank you, WBGR family. I appreciate you so very,
Thank you
very
so
much.
much.
We love you. Thank you, Mr. Lionel Green. Hey, listen, YouTube family, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I pray that this blessed you, and you can share this. Please share it.
You can share
Please.
it, and if it's been a blessing, and if you appreciate the ministry of Pastor Sturdivant, and you want to sow a seed to say thank you for your ministry, thank you for the anointing, you can do that. You can sow a seed. You do that via Cash App. The handle is the $, capital D, lowercase r, capital J, capital E, capital S. Again, that's the $, capital D, lowercase r, capital J, capital E, capital S. If you want to be a blessing, holiday gift, you know, Pastor, we appreciate you. Just
Thank
because
you.
Christmas Day is over doesn't mean
I'm telling you, you still got time to do that.
Yes, you can do that. And if you don't have a church home, we encourage you to visit Faith United Ministries. Our website is www.fummd.com. Again, that's www.fummd.com. 7905 Fernham Lane, District Heights, Maryland.
And can you tell them that tonight we're doing Bible study, but right after Bible study, and we're going to just be giving away groceries.
We are doing that for
free. We're giving away free groceries. You don't have to pay for it. Come by, be in Bible study. We start promptly at 7 o'clock. Get your prayer life together. We pray from 7 until 7:30. Then we do, if we don't just keep praying, we do a brief teaching from 7:30, and then we give away groceries. We want to be a blessing to you. If you've come up a little short in your money, or you spend all of your money on Christmas things, and now you don't have food, come on by. We will give you groceries. God bless you.
Share this.
We love you. Please share it. Swipe it right. You know, share it to let everybody know we are doing something major for the Lord. We love you. We appreciate you. We out here.